Ladies and gentlemen, digital investors, welcome back to another video. We have Kevin O'Leary saying Bitcoin is a giant nothing burger. Google searches for Ether hit an all-time high. Options market see a chance of $50,000 Bitcoin by the end of this month. Grayscale adds to its Bitcoin position. Michael Saylor says Bitcoin is now a better investment than tech stocks were in the early days. This is also very interesting. Christine Lagarde from the ECB calling for a global push to regulate Bitcoin. We have some Tether news. This is a deadline for the 15th. So this is pretty interesting to be aware of. Polkadot launches their first parachain, and we'll have a couple of other things to go over. We'll take a look at the price action and all of that good stuff. If you guys are frequent viewers of the show and you want to show some support, then tap the like button. It really does help a ton for the YouTube algorithm to pick this video up and show it to more people. And with that said, guys, we're going to hop right into it. Make sure you subscribe if you like daily cryptocurrency news and updates, and let's see what Kevin O'Leary is talking about here. So he says Bitcoin is a nothing burger, a giant nothing burger, said O'Leary. He says this is because you don't have every institution willing to play ball with it. For example, he points out he cannot use Bitcoin to buy assets globally as regulators in different countries remain wary of cryptocurrency. I can't get consistency with any single regulator in endorsing Bitcoin for me to do a significant transaction, he said. It's getting better, but it's not something every regulator in every market supports. If I want to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin right now, I've got to do a fair amount of work to pull that off. Although O'Leary isn't sold on Bitcoin, he does believe there would be tremendous value in a digital currency that is global. All right, so now this is interesting, right? He says if there was an attempt with Bitcoin itself or another currency that could be traded everywhere with a regulator agreeing to it, then you'd have something of tremendous value, he says. Bitcoin supporters hope this will be the cryptocurrency's future outcome. If that existed, O'Leary would invest in it, he said. That way I could keep half of my net worth in the digital currency and just flow, buy groceries, buy a house. That is a vision that is really attractive versus this tiny little thing that for some people is an outlier and in many ways isn't liquid or isn't easily liquid, he said, referring to Bitcoin. So interesting, right? A global currency Kevin O'Leary would be bullish on, or right, if there could just be regulators, right? If we could have this green light, so to speak, which I think we're getting regulatory clarity soon, right? We're gonna go over that Tether case for that deadline on the 15th. As we know, the SEC is suing Ripple. All of this could lead to, better regulations for the entire crypto space, right? As we know, Ripple being a U.S. company, being sued by the SEC, what happens to Ripple is definitely going to have implications for the rest of the crypto market, right? Other companies will take a look at what happened to Ripple, whatever the outcome is, and work around that, right? Because other companies aren't going to be wanting to get sued by the SEC as well. On top of that, you have companies that haven't even started yet, people with great ideas, probably great entrepreneurs out there, but they won't take the first step, the first dive on their project because there is no regulatory clarity and they don't want to end up being sued. And this is why we say it is stifling innovation in this sector within the US. So, very interesting words from Kevin O'Leary, right? Global currency, as we know off the top of my head, I can think of, a couple different projects that are basically trying to solve that problem. I think you guys do too. I think you guys probably know what I'm talking about. So very, very interesting. I think regulations are probably going to be here sooner than things expect. It seems like nothing is happening, but we could be looking at a catalyst coming up soon. But that could also just be, the hope in me. I'm hoping to get regulations sooner than later because I would hate to see the US left behind here. So, we could also be on a different road of, regulations are still 10 years out. In that case, it is not going to be a fun time. So, hopefully we do get regulations very, very soon so we could literally help US based companies already in the crypto space, entrepreneurs in the US who want to get in the crypto space. Regulatory clarity is a very, very real thing, especially if you want to legitimize the entire crypto space. We also have Google searches for Ethereum hit an all-time high. As you know, guys, Ethereum is climbing up in price back up to $1,200. And a couple days ago, I showed you guys the Google trends for Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP, and they were all peaking. I can't remember if XRP was, but definitely definitely Bitcoin and Ethereum They had quite a bit of search volume. Now we have confirmation Ethereum hits an all-time high for their Google searches. So there is a lot of buzz, a lot of talk, a lot of new interest coming into the crypto space, to be expected, right? We were saying once Bitcoin hits its old all-time high, right, is above $20,000, we can expect a lot more talk, a lot more eyes on it. And since we broke $20,000, it's exactly what happened. We have decisively broke above $20,000. We haven't stopped from $20,000, made a 100% move all the way up to $40,000, and a lot of people are talking about it. Now we also have the options market seeing a 20% chance of 50K at the end of the month. So that is pretty interesting, right? As we know, Bitcoin has pretty much went on a bit of a correction. It went all the way up and tapped about $42,000 roughly, depending on what chart you're looking at, and then corrected all the way down here to $30,600. And now we're having a bounce. So is this going to be a dead cat bounce, as they would call it, or one of those classic V-shaped recoveries? Anyways, a move up to $50,000 percentage-wise wouldn't be that much of an increase from where we are now, going all the way up to $50,000, roughly a 30% move to the upside. So, it's not like some crazy percentage move, but it's just the fact that in dollars, right? We're so used to seeing Bitcoin at lower prices, and now to see it here at $38,000, to hear talks of $50,000, right? These are obviously all targets that we have thought of, but we've also just, we've ripped to the upside so fast. It's been so parabolic. As you guys know, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice, but when I see the market with this type of uncertainty, I tend to just sit out, right? I want nothing to do with it. I am certainly not buying Bitcoin at these levels, especially when we were at such cheap prices not too long ago. Bitcoin is, in terms of buying, just doesn't really look that sexy to me, right? Even if we go up to another 50,000, if we go up to $50,000 again, it's only a 30% move from $50,000. To me, it's just not worth taking on that risk to potentially get a 30% gain when we've already run up so much. So I'm just sitting out, and one thing that I try to do is I try to have a plan both ways. I just accept that nobody knows where the price is going to go. This is one thing that, you have to accept, that no matter who you watch, no matter how credible you think they are, they don't know. Nobody knows what this market is going to do. So just have a plan both ways, right? If Bitcoin goes to $50,000, what are you going to do? And if on the other hand, Bitcoin dumps, let's say we have a massive dump down to $20,000, what are you going to do? And it's going to be much easier to operate when you have that plan in place before the pump or dump comes, because you've already had time to think about it. You've already had time to hopefully write it down, right? Actually write down your investing plan. And then when the time actually comes where Bitcoin is pumping or dumping, you don't have to do any thinking. You can just refer back to your notes, right? Try to make it as simple as possible, a step-by-step process. If Bitcoin does this, then I will do this because this, right? That is probably the absolute best thing you can do, and nobody does it. But if you do that, I think you will see yourself making a lot more money in these markets. So yeah, guys, Bitcoin goes to $50,000, I don't care. If Bitcoin goes to $20,000, I don't care. I have my plans in place no matter which direction it goes, and I'll be looking to position myself properly. We also have Grayscale adding 2,172 BTC to its trust on its first day of trading in 2021. In its last quarter of 2020 alone, Q4, they received $3.3 billion in total investment. So Grayscale is just getting a ton of assets under management at this point. They do not seem to be slowing down. Your price for today, you have Bitcoin at 39,600, Ether at 1,200, XRP at 29 cents, Polkadot at 1262, Cardano at 31 cents, Bcash 530, Stellar at 30 cents. Your fear and greed index finally has slipped out of the 90s. Yesterday you went down to 78, and today you ticked up to 83, but nonetheless you are out of the 90s, and you have been in the 90s for, it had to be at least a full month for sure, maybe 2 months, maybe pushing 2 months. If you guys are enjoying the video, make sure you tap the like. It really does help to push this video out to more people. And make sure you subscribe if you were trying to get daily crypto updates, stay on top of what's happening in this market. Subscribe and hit the bell, and YouTube should notify you when I upload. Now we also have this from Michael Saylor. Bitcoin is a better bet now than tech stocks were in the early days. Quite the thing to say, right? So he goes over this in an interview with Anthony Pompliano, before we get into the tech stock thing, he does say this. He says, the problem is I have a lot of cash and I'm watching it melt away. On investors, they're smarter than I am. I'm not joking. I'm being serious. They are smarter than I am. They knew before I knew that cash is trash and you're a fool to sit on the cash. So, right there, he's kind of making the sales pitch for the Bitcoin investment of cash is trash, so buy Bitcoin. But now, in terms of the tech stocks, let's see this. He says, I've invested in everything. I was an early investor in Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Google, OpenTable, eBay, and PayPal. And I made huge amounts of money, 20x my money in those things. And let me tell you, none of them looks as good as this looks to me. Saylor says that the driving force behind this thinking is an impending flood of capital made up of cash, debt, stock, commercial, real estate, indices. As we know, guys, Michael Saylor, he's the CEO of MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy converted its balance sheet to BTC. On top of that, Michael Saylor holds a pretty large amount of personal BTC stash. So he's very bullish on Bitcoin. That's what he's saying in terms of tech stocks. So that's pretty interesting, right? To see somebody who has made a lot of money in tech stocks. I wasn't really around in the tech stock days. So to see him say that Bitcoin looks like a better investment than those tech stocks did, that's pretty interesting. That is really saying something. He says he estimates an influx of some 300 to 400 trillion that will make its way into the Bitcoin market cap, putting a $14 million price on each Bitcoin at the lower end of the scale. I wish this came with some type of, date, because a 14 million price on each Bitcoin, Bitcoin goes and succeeds, right? Again, you have to always keep in mind that all of these crypto projects could fail. I know a lot of people don't like when I say that. They get mad when I say that, but every single one of these crypto projects has the option to fail. If you don't think that, then I think you're delusional, right? If you think that there's no way on earth that Bitcoin could fail, that Ethereum could fail, that XRP or XLM or Polkadot or Cardano, any of them, take the top 10, the top 50, the top 100, all of these projects have the option to fail. And it could be for a stupid reason, right? It could literally be over the littlest, stupidest reason. One person in leadership makes a bad choice and the company goes bankrupt, right? These things happen all the time. It's business. It's companies. A lot of these are crypto startup companies with a coin, right? There's absolutely no reason why some of these cannot fail. So just keep that in mind. I understand we are entering into a very hypey period of the crypto market cycle. And that's fine. It's the way it works. It's crypto, I accept it. But, on top of all that, I know there's some people out there who probably see, 14 million per Bitcoin, and they could think that that is happening soon, right? Keep in mind, for a $14 million Bitcoin, Michael Saylor is saying a $300 to $400 trillion influx into the Bitcoin market cap. The Bitcoin market cap just hit 1 trillion. Okay, it just hit 1 trillion. It's probably not going to 300 trillion in the next couple years, okay? So yeah, if Bitcoin succeeds, right? Just like, again, I'm not just picking on Bitcoin here. All of these crypto projects have the option to fail. So if Bitcoin succeeds and it gets that much money into it, sure. But also keep in mind that is years off. I just want to make sure nobody is investing into Bitcoin at $30,000 thinking it's going to 14 million, okay? When you're investing into these cryptocurrencies, only put in what you can afford to lose, please, okay? There's too many people that get wrecked. There are too many people that come into this space. They think they're going to get rich overnight. They think it's a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not. This space will humble you, and it will take your money. I've seen it happen again and again and again. So, of course, make sure you're investing in the right projects. Do your research on these projects. But also, it comes to the thing of never marry your bag, right? Never go all in. Have an investing plan. Protect yourself. Protect your capital, right? You're putting your hard-earned money into cryptocurrencies, right? You better be protecting yourself and protecting your capital. So with that said, right, we just went over Kevin O'Leary, saying he'd be bullish on a currency that was regulated and everything like that. And I thought this was interesting. This is the European Central Bank's Christine Lagarde calls for a global push to regulate Bitcoin, right? So now we're kind of seeing, all right, like regulations might be coming. We know Ripple's being sued by the SEC. This could bring out some regulation. This could bring out some clarity. And now we have Christine Lagarde calling for a global push to regulate Bitcoin and also kind of, throw some jabs at Bitcoin, talking about funny business and other things. I'm going to play a clip for you of exactly what she said.
It's a speculative asset. By any account. I mean, when you look at the most recent developments upward and now the most recent downward trend, it's for those who had assumed that it might turn into a currency, terribly sorry, but this is an asset, and it's a highly speculative asset, which has conducted some funny business and some interesting and totally reprehensible money laundering activity. I think that there are criminal investigations that have taken place that I'm sure will continue to take place that demonstrate it very clearly. And there has to be regulations, and this has to be applied and agreed upon. It's a matter that needs to be agreed at a global level, because if there is an escape, that escape will be used. So I think it needs to be if anything, it shows that global cooperation, multilateral action is absolutely needed, whether it's initiated by the G7, moved into the G20 and then enlarged, but it's something that needs to be addressed, and FATF is clearly an organization that has expanded in that respect.
So interesting stuff, right? Now let's combine that with this Tether January 15th deadline on iFinex case. Everything you need to know. So many in the crypto field have recently discussed the upcoming January 15th date as an important consideration for the ongoing case between the Office of the New York Attorney General and iFinex. iFinex is the parent company of Bitfinex and Tether. With this in mind, here's a summary of what happened and what to expect on this date. So for those of you who don't know, in April 2019, the New York Attorney General alleged that the popular crypto exchange Bitfinex lost $850 million and then used funds from its affiliated stablecoin operator Tether to cover the shortfall. Tether issued a statement and said that the allegations were written in bad faith and also riddled with false assertions. In August, the NYAG presented new evidence on the case, alleging that apart from covering up the $850 million Bitfinex and Tether had served New York customers for longer than they claimed. In part, the document stated that OAG has uncovered such substantial ties between respondents and New York concerning respondents' corporate operations, trading on the Bitfinex platform, the issuance, redemption, and trading of tethers, use of financial institutions to move money and process customer deposits and withdrawals, and representations to the market that might have been misleading. Essentially, NYAG attacked Bitfinex's LEO initial exchange offering, claiming that it has every indicia of a securities issuance subject to the Martin Act, and there is reason to believe that the issuance is related to the matters under investigation. In September 2020, Judge Cohen ruled that Bitfinex and Tether must turn over documents detailing their financial relationship and history to the NYAG's office. It also extended an injunction that barred Tether from loaning funds to Bitfinex by 90 more days. The Attorney General filed a document saying the parties continue to cooperate on the production of documents in response to the 354 order and anticipate that the production could be finalized in the coming weeks, extending the deadline to January 15th of 2021. Which is coming up tomorrow. This is critical because first, it requires the iFinex produces the necessary information for the NYAG to continue its investigation and to further substantiate the merits of its claims. In essence, iFinex has to produce materials on the process by which they determine whether, when, and how to issue and redeem Tether's banks, documents, and communications regarding specific issuances and redemptions, as well as trading activity on the Bitfinex trading platform regarding Tethers and Bitcoin. This is a landmark case for the entire cryptocurrency space, as USDT is the most popular and biggest stablecoin on the market. The company issuing it has been involved in many scandals in the past, with many questioning the fact that it's actually backed by the US dollar. Okay, so that is what is happening tomorrow on the 15th. So something to definitely keep on your radar, right? Aside from all the bullishness, Bitcoin going to 100,000, Bitcoin going to 1 million, Bitcoin going to 15 million. Keep in mind what else is happening. Make sure you're protecting yourself and make sure you are protecting your capital. We also have Polkadot launching the first parachain. Its dot price surpasses $12. Blockchain ecosystem and crypto protocol Polkadot saw the launch of its first ever parachain yesterday, a move that pushed the prices of its DOT token to over $12.50 as of press time. So very cool things for DOT. As we know, it has been increasing in price like crazy. And with that said, that is the video for today. If you enjoyed it, make sure you tap the like button. It helps a ton for the YouTube algorithm to pick this up and show it to more people. If you guys are also like daily cryptocurrency news and updates, make sure you subscribe. You get a video like this daily going over Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything that's going on in the space. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just documenting the daily crypto news in this crypto bull run. I know I kind of got off on a few tangents on this video. I just want to make sure that you guys are, investing responsibly, right? Not risking more than you could afford to lose. Last night, I was reading up on some articles of people, taking out debt to buy crypto, taking out loans, maxing out credit cards. Please make sure you're not doing those things, right? Especially at $36,000 Bitcoin, where, if Bitcoin goes from 36,000 to 50,000, it's only a 30% move, right? Is it really worth maxing out credit cards to maybe capture a 30% move on Bitcoin? So again, I'm sorry with the tangents. I just want to make sure that all of you guys are safe, right? The last thing I want to see is anybody lose a ton of money in this space, or anyone get wrecked financially, right? If you guys want hopium and you want to hear, we're going to the moon, there's a ton of channels for that. There's a ton of channels who do that. I get excited at times, right? I'm very excited for the crypto space. I'm very bullish on the crypto space. However, I will continue to push the narrative of make sure you're investing, with a clear mind, right? Not emotionally. No emotion when you're investing into these markets. Don't marry your bags. Protect yourself. Protect your capital. Invest at times where the risk is low, right? Invest in low risk areas. When we're in new all-time high, price discovery, yes, things shoot up, but anything could happen, right? And at any moment, a piece of news could come out. Like you look at the Ripple SEC stuff, and that tanked the price of XRP. So a piece of news could come out and the entire thing changes. As you guys know, sentiment in this arena switches so quick. Again, you go to sleep bullish and you wake up and the world is ending. So, just keep that in mind. As we go through this bull market, I'm going to be doing my best to keep my emotions in check, to continue to view the markets logically, to not get caught up in the hype. And I would urge you guys to as well, right? There's many opportunities in this market and there's never a good reason to FOMO. With that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video and I will see you all on the next one. Have a great day, everybody.